Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
After 20 years of service, the Metro Blue Line is ready for essential improvements. A multi-year transformation is on the way, bringing a better, smoother Blue Line experience. Renew the Blue will preserve and protect a critical piece of our infrastructure investment, helping it remain a safe, reliable, and affordable transit option for many years to come. Learn more about Renew the Blue at metrotransit.org/renew-the-blue. Metro Transit, Renew the Blue.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NAGD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nagd.org.
The Minneapolis Police Department is hiring, and we're looking for people ready to lead, serve, and reflect the communities we protect.
Whether you're a new graduate, changing careers, or already in law enforcement, there's a path for you to join our department.
With top-tier pay, full benefits, paid training, and a direct path to making a difference, this is more than a job. This is your chance to shape the future of Minneapolis Police.
Choose service. Choose leadership. Choose Minneapolis. Visit our city website to learn more.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 69, then Tuesday, sunshine with a high of 89. Maverick's Real Roast Beef serves up the best roast beef sandwiches in town, but don't miss their other great offerings like chicken, fish, Philly steak, and more. Mavericks is located on Lexington Avenue in Roseville, 1 mile south of Highway 36. Check them out at mavericksbeef.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hit cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi, to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events. And as you know, Wendy, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
In this portion of the show, we like to bring awareness to our Minnesota and Wisconsin wolf population. Say no to the hunts.
Oh! Hey, we got a jam-packed show here, Wendy, and we're going to talk a little bit here in the beginning, but I just want to tell everybody that we're going to have Sherman on, the Sioux chef, which is, he laughed when I tried to say that, Sioux chef. And of course he has a Wamni restaurant here, award-winning, and also other things happening. We first met him when he had his food truck years ago. Also, Bob Blake from Red Lake. I always love to say that. And we're going to have some Solar Bear with the Solar News and talk a little politics. And then the last segment, we're going to round off, Wendy, with a little Viking Packer talk. And I know Bob's really big into that. And there's some sad news for Vikings fans, but also good news for our Wisconsin relatives. So, hey, welcome, Wendy.
Yeah. Hey, Robert. Glad to be here today. I'm in New York at the time. And yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for calling me in.
Yeah. And just got to say, our favorite show won last night on the Emmys.
Yes.
And I love that, our actors and people or artists out there are calling stuff out. And our friend Hannah, who is, on our show Hacks, who won Best Supporting Comedy Actor or Actress, Hannah Endebender, I think that's how you say her last name. Ava Daniels is her character in Hacks, and also Gene Smart won too. But I just want to say what Hannah had to say, which her mother was one of the original Saturday Night Live people, and it's just amazing that this political stuff goes down, but she had a chance to say F ICE and Free Palestine, and
I love
she's
that.
Jewish.
Yeah, well, a lot of Jewish people don't agree with Netanyahu and his, genocide to the Palestinian people. I mean, it's they're not in war. It's a genocide. So, actually, a very good friend of mine, her daughter is a rabbi, and she has spoken out against what's happening in Palestine right now and what Netanyahu is doing. And she's gotten a lot of flack about it because she's, Jewish and she's a rabbi. So anyway, I'm so happy that Stephen Colbert got a standing ovation. We'll go back to Emmys again. And if you have a chance to watch Hacks, it's really a funny, fun series with Jean Smart. In fact, I just saw her on Broadway like 2 weeks ago. She was in a one-man show or a one-woman show called Call Me Izzy, and she was just really fantastic. So, I mean, I remember watching her on Designing Women. I think it was in the late 80s. But what network did we watch Hacks on? I can't remember, and I hope it doesn't stump you. I can't remember. I don't think it was. Maybe it was Max. Maybe it was. I mean, it could be. Just Google it.
I think no, it is HBO Max. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
yes.
It's just such a fun thing. So it's a boomer, a woman. She's a boomer, and she's working with a Gen Zer, right?
Yep.
Yep. And how they clash. With how they talk and whatever. It's hilarious. It really is. Because it kind of reminds us a little bit, for me, like with our, with my stepdaughters, your daughter, so it's kind of like, it's just such a fun generational thing. And Jean Smart is just really fun. But anyway.
Well, and again, too, her mother is Lorraine Newman, one of the original cast members of Saturday Night Live. So that's hilarious. And, we remember watching that when we were young too, and I really like how her political stand, because she is Jewish and she's calling out what is genocide. And us as natives, Wendy, as you know, we have gone through this our own self, so we really have a lot of empathy for Palestinians.
Absolutely, they're being their lands being taken away, they're being slaughtered, children are starving. People are starving. It's hard for me to even think about it.
Well, and you were right. And it's not against the Jewish people. You're related and I'm related to Jewish people.
Yeah.
It's not that at all. It is what's his name is doing.
Netanyahu. Yeah.
Right.
He's a war criminal.
Yeah, definitely.
So, a lot going on politically. Everything feels kind of icky. I think it was on Good Morning America, but it was on one of these shows where they had our president, and the host said, like, how will you bring the American people together? How will you do this? And he just said, I don't care.
Right.
Like, he just came out and said he doesn't care. So,
well, Mega Strong doesn't care, because they blame this all right away on trans people, because he had the assassin had we're talking about what's his name?
Yeah.
And
you don't say his name. Go
I
ahead.
don't want to say his name.
Don't say his name.
Well, and I'm really irritated that the country and people have the flag at half staff for him. And he
Yeah.
was not even an elected official or worked for the government. So
They didn't
again,
do
we're
that for Melissa Hortman and her husband. That's the whole problem in America, I feel, is that each death and each murder is not measured equally. Until
Right.
everyone's death is measured equally, nothing's going to change. Nothing.
Well, and we're against gun violence for little kids and adults too. And I hate to see this person again. I don't want to mention his name, but that his children have to go through with their life without a father. That's huge. And
Horrible.
and Wendy too. They talk about because this assassin had a transgender
roommate
that it's a democratic thing. Well, has anyone ever heard of Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner? She's MAGA to the max, and that's a transgender person. So give me a break.
I know. We're just way too divided. We saw it when he was president back in 2016, and I felt like during Biden's term, some things kind of settled down a little bit and was a little bit more quiet, I want to say. But now, we're right back. We're right back in the middle of it. And I don't really know what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is that, and it might be too late by then, that people are going to like wake up and be like, what? He's asking, these communist countries to spend millions of dollars on what does he have? That fake money?
Yeah, Bitcoin.
That he's going to give them AI technology. And people aren't doing that. No one's doing that because they don't want China to get a hold of that AI technology. But he doesn't care because you know what? If he makes money on it, then it's okay with him. I don't believe that a president of the United States should be like making money on all this stuff when he's leading the country. It's like total big conflict of interest.
It's a Ponzi scheme. Hey, Wendy, thanks for opening up the show with me. I love you, and we'll talk to you soon. This is Native Roots Radio. Up next, the Sioux chef, Sean Sherman. You're listening to Native Roots Radio. Ho!
Stay with us.
Yeah.
City of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NAGD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nagd.org.
After 20 years of service, the Metro Blue line is ready for essential improvements. A multi-year transformation is on the way, bringing a better, smoother Blue line experience. Renew the Blue will preserve and protect a critical piece of our infrastructure investment, helping it remain a safe, reliable, and affordable transit option for many years to come. Learn more about Renew the Blue at metrotransit.org/renew-the-blue. Metro Transit, Renew the Blue.
The Minneapolis Police Department is hiring, and we're looking for people ready to lead, serve, and reflect the communities we protect.
Whether you're a new graduate, changing careers, or already in law enforcement, there's a path for you to join our department.
With top-tier pay, full benefits, paid training, and a direct path to making a difference, this is more than a job. This is your chance to shape the future of Minneapolis Police.
Choose service. Choose leadership. Choose Minneapolis. Visit our city website to learn more.
Annie, and I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Hey, we are really pleased and honored to have Sean Sherman, known as the Sioux Chef. That's you're early for me to say Sioux Chef and author. Ogola Lakota chef, author, and activist. There's just so many different accolades that we could say about Sean, but he's well known, many awards winning. And Sean, I have you on for a couple of reasons today. One, that I'm blessed to have you on, and two, we have new things happening with you. And I want to talk a little bit about what's going on politically. But first, let's talk about what's new with you, Sean. And I know some exciting information's coming out. Welcome.
Well, we have a lot of things going on this year because we're getting ready to launch a new restaurant concept this winter sometime called Shota, which obviously refers to smoke in Dakota language. And it's going to be a cool Native barbecue joint right on Franklin, on 26th and Franklin. So just right there on the Native American Cultural Corridor, not too far from Indian Center and all the other places. And that'll be a super cool, fun space just a new space for us to all hang out. And behind that restaurant, of course, is this huge kitchen in that building. And we're launching a program called Meals for Native Institutions, so we can start doing large format foods for schools and hospitals all across the state. And we're getting ready to launch that same program in Bozeman, Montana, as we're getting ready to make our first food lab with our nonprofit natives and stretching out that way. And so we're getting ready to hire that first position basically right away. We're trying to get that position released today, actually. So I have our first regional director. And then beyond that, I'm just my life is a little travel heavy, and I'm getting ready for a travel run. But we'll be hitting a lot of really cool spaces, working with some fun folks out in Seattle and Rapid City and New York for Climate Week, and Sacramento and LA, and kind of all over the place the next couple months. But when I get back to Minneapolis in early November, my second book launch will happen called The Turtle Island, with my co-authors Kate Nelson and Kristen Donnelly. And this was a little over 3 years of work, and it's a pretty massive book, and it's really pretty amazing to see it in real form, because I've only ever seen it in the PDFs, and the photography is amazing and beautiful. And we're just really excited to have this live on the shelf, because this looks at all of North America, from basically Mexico through Alaska, and all the various regions, and just trying to showcase diversity of North America and get people to, see past colonial borders, see past who's speaking English and Spanish, and realize that there's a lot of indigeneity here that we could be celebrating. And we need to start working towards that, of understanding the true foundation of culinary in North America through our indigenous lens.
Hey, well, that's exciting. Your first book, Indigenous Kitchen, earned a Beard Award, I believe, and inspired people across the country to explore indigenous foods.
Absolutely. And when we started that book, we started it way back in 2015. So that was 10 years ago, or more than that nowadays, because it was early. And Beth Dooley and I back then with that one just started working hard. And I just wanted to create that book as an educational component, because I started doing a lot of traveling and speaking engagements and pop-up dinners and working with different tribes. And I just wanted to have something to carry around to kind of showcase the philosophy around what we were doing, with kind of highlighting what are indigenous foods today, and how are we, how was I approaching that as a chef, and utilizing the philosophy I created back then of just cutting out colonial ingredients and removing things like dairy and wheat flour and cane sugar and beef, pork, and chicken, and maybe unpopularly sometimes removing fry bread. But at the time, it was worth the commitment to just showcase that there was so much amazing, cool culinary foods out there, that fry bread can always have its place and be around, and it's cool. But we have so much more that can identify us as indigenous peoples all over the place. And that one piece shouldn't identify all of us as indigenous peoples,
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. Sean, we have a national audience here. How do people catch up and follow you in what you're doing on social media, website? Could you let people on that are driving around in their car know how to get in touch with the great work that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, people can find me pretty easily just by going to my name. So SeanSherman.com. I have a lot of places there, and you can find leads to all the other organizations and my nonprofit natives.org, which is growing rather quickly. You can find links to awamni.com there, and Indigenous Food Lab. And, if you want to watch some of the educational videos that our team has been putting up, you can go to Indigenous Food Lab on YouTube, and we have over 200 educational native videos uploaded already the past couple of years. So that's been a lot of body of work too that we continue to do, and we're excited to start doing some of those in Montana region also very soon here.
Well, I remember when you just had a food truck, and is that still around? I know it's sometimes parked outside Owamni. Do you still have the food truck?
Yeah, we still have it. Well, we kind of converted it to a food trailer. We sold the original physical truck to White Earth a long time ago. And then we kept the brand Tatanka truck. And so we put it on a smaller trailer, kind of vowed to never put a kitchen on an engine and never again, because that was difficult with that truck always breaking down on us. And but now we have a trailer and we drag it out quite a bit. So we go to a few different events here and there. And, a lot of times if there's special events at Owamni, we'll drop it below Owamni down there too. And so it's nice to have, because it has come in as a really a great resource just to be able to continue to kind of spread out, and we're looking forward to, as long as, I know there's some news that Farm Aid might be shutting down because of the strikes, but if it does go through, our Owamni team is featuring some foods there, which is going to be, hopefully we'll be able to pull it off if it doesn't get canceled or moved. But right now we've been working really hard on creating bison corn dogs that we're calling res dogs for the day.
Yeah, heck yeah, that sounds great. Sean, I just have to switch gears right now. And one of the things that's going on here, and you get around the country and around the world too, with all this gun violence, and it's just not okay. I've talked to my guests about this a lot. And how are you protecting your soul, and how are you getting through this? Being, a figurehead out there too.
I think it's really important to talk about everything directly and not just hide behind social media memes and, just hide behind social media angst. And I think that we need to really come together to have conversations, because it's important for us to have conversations to really try to pull us more towards the center instead of trying to be left and right. Like, we have to really move our dial towards being human, and gun violence is a massive issue in the United States, because like I grew up with guns because we grew up on the res or in the country, but we utilized guns as tools. We used it for hunting, and they were around if we needed them, and we were taught never to point a gun at a person. It's a simple rule like that, right? And so it's really hard because you see so much division and hate, going on out there, and blaming of people. And I just feel like, we really need to come together, because there's a lot of hypocrisy going on. There's a lot of kind of, I would call it false morals and values, because they'll blame one side and, strengthen their own, even if people are doing the same thing. And so like, there's obviously a lot of feelings out there, and I feel like we need to be talking about that, but we need to be making solutions, not just blaming one side or the other. Because guns are the problem. And they're trying to say guns aren't the problem, it's the humans. Then why are we giving humans guns then? So we need to figure something out way better.
Yeah. Well, and then, again, how are you protecting your own personal soul? You're talking about this, but it's got to be a little angst sometimes when you're out in public in a big public area.
I just feel like now is not the time to be silent with all of these things, because, what I see is a lot of the rise of authoritarianism happening here in the United States. I see a lot of dehumanization of people in color. And as coming from Indigenous communities and Black communities and other communities across the United States, like that's always been a constant for us to be able to, have all of this kind of racist rhetoric and all of this kind of dehumanization against us for who we are and where we grew up and what color our skin is and all of these things, and what language we speak, whatever it might be. So I think it's really important to be strong. If you have a platform, then we better utilize it, and we should be really working on coming together. Like, we shouldn't be infighting as Indigenous peoples or people of color in general, and we should be strengthening ourselves by, coming together over a table. And that's why I stick with food, because I think food is a really powerful language. I think food really pulls people together from different perspectives. And I think that, we can set a table for people to come together to have real conversations and to make real solutions, instead of just hiding behind money and power and all of these things, but I do not believe in white supremacy. I do not believe in all the hate that's going on out there. And I will definitely stand up and have my words against it,
Yeah, definitely. Hey, we have our friend, Lieutenant Governor, running for Senate, and really excited to support her. I know I've been down to the Sioux Chef, or to Awamni, excuse me, for a lot of things that she showed up for, and it's great to have her in the community and also a voice for Indigenous people across Turtle Island.
Absolutely. I run into Peggy quite often, and a huge supporter, and really happy to help out wherever we can with her campaign, and would love to see her move towards that seat, and I think a lot of us have been very proud of Peggy's successes, and politicians are a crazy world to put yourself into because you're thrown in the middle of it, and you have everything on all sides. And I can't imagine the kind of, hate and love that's coming in on all the sides, so it's a lot. I'm sure it's a lot to juggle, but she's a strong individual, and we'd be very proud if we had another Native voice up there.
Absolutely. Sean, we got less than a minute left here. Can you tell people how they can get the book and when the book's coming out one more time?
Well, we have some pre-orders right now, so you can find it online, but we're pushing people towards birch bark here in the cities, and we're selling them as signed books too. So when I get back in November, I'm going to be down there signing a lot, because I know they've already sold a ton of pre-orders, so I know my wrist is going to wear out signing these things. But yeah, I would, if you can, I would order from birch bark, but of course you can pre-order online through any of the big ones if you want to.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sean Sherman, the Sioux Chef, Turtle Island. The book's coming out and all the great things, and I can't wait to be at Awamni again. I love the food and I love the atmosphere. Thank you so much, Sean.
All right.
Have a great day.
Yep.
Wow. Thank you so much.
The Minneapolis Police Department is hiring, and we're looking for people ready to lead, serve, and reflect the community tech.
Whether you're a new graduate, changing careers, or already in law enforcement, there's a path for you to join our department.
With top-tier pay, full benefits, paid training, and a direct path to making a difference, this is more than a job. This is your chance to shape the future of Minneapolis police.
Choose service. Choose leadership. Choose Minneapolis. Visit our city website to learn more.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
The place for live music is the Park Tavern. Live music takes over the Park Tavern's dog-friendly patio. Head over on Tuesday, September 16th, it's Colby Streka. Wednesday, September 17th, it's Meat Raffle Ska. And on Thursday, September 18th, it's the Gut Buckets. Music runs from 5:30 to 8 p.m. and reservations for groups of 8 or more are recommended. And the Park Tavern offers private and semi-private spaces for small and large groups on Louisiana Avenue north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park. Outdoor live music is on at the Park Tavern.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. It's the start of our favorite season in Minnesota, football season. With all the hype and action this season brings, we know things can get loud and messy quick. Before you invite your friends and family over to watch the big game, you better call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to clean up all of those fumble moments in your home. And as always, you can score a guaranteed touchdown with great savings from Zero Res this month. Carpet, tile, rugs, upholstery, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. And this month you can get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129, plus $75 off an air duct cleaning. And don't forget about your dryer vent, too. Having Zero Res over will be a big victory for your home. You'll always come away a winner, even if the guys in the purple or the maroon don't. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same, Zero Res. With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 69, then Tuesday, sunshine with a high of 89. Maverick's Real Roast Beef serves up the best roast beef sandwiches in town, but don't miss their other great offerings like chicken, fish, Philly steak, and more. Mavericks is located on Lexington Avenue in Roseville, 1 mile south of Highway 36. Check them out at mavericksbeef.com.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Hey, we are with our friend Bob Blake from Red Lake. We're going to get a little Solar Bear with the solar news, and then later on, we're going to talk a little bit about the Vikings and the Packers and touch base on that a little bit. But Bob, before I reintroduce you here, I just want to mention this and get your comment on this. This just came up across my a couple hours ago. Is that starting November 1st, New Mexico will become the first state to offer free universal childcare, with families will save annually $12,000 per child. Huge step forward and a great reminder. We have power to fix the system. So I just want to throw that out there. That's just amazing information that come across. I didn't know New Mexico was doing that, but your thoughts and welcome to Native Roots Radio.
Yeah, Robert. I think that just goes to show what the states are capable of, as far as like us doing like our own, creating our own rules, here in our states. And New Mexico's the perfect example of that. Think about this now, Robert. Think about this now. What about the gun control that we want to see now, right? I mean, This is what the governor, Waltz, is calling right now to say, let's do something about this. Now, Robert, this is a much bigger problem than the state of Minnesota. But, we have had a lot of, gun violence here in our state. And I think that, irregardless of what the federal government does, whatever we can do as a state to be able to curb those violent instances, right, and protect its citizenry, I think we have a moral obligation and a constitutional and in a voting priority that we have to do this. And this whole thing that's taking place in New Mexico right now is a perfect example that we're not powerless, Robert. We do have say. And when everyone goes out there and votes, your vote matters. It really does. And every election does matter.
Hey, Bob, I got to also bring up, too, the fact that you talked about Walls having this special session. What I like about this, too, and I hear people complaining about this because they don't think things are going to get done, but it's going to out these Republicans that are totally, and we had 3 Democrats last time that voted against this bill a couple years ago when we had the House, Senate, and the governor. So voted against a bill. So that's out them, and I'm all for that. That's get them out there. You have people like Emmer that was on national a couple of weeks ago, national news, and they called him out about voting against the gun control bill, and he said he voted for it. So these politicians on the right side are lying and then acting as if it's true and then firing up their base. Got to say too, what's really bizarre about these shootings too, they go right after the brown and black and transgender people, the minorities. In another 10 years, 20 years, we're going to be the majority in this country. They go right after them, but then transgender doesn't mean you're a Democrat. We know that from people like Caitlyn Jenner. We know that from the last shooting at the school, is that this person was brought up with guns in the right wing. And so let's back down this rhetoric about Democrats, and let's take a look. I like how people put towards me that you didn't see a riot or anything afterwards. And then I'm just remind them that, well, I saw one January 6th that was pretty huge. I don't know. But yeah, Robert, it's just, we're in the upside down world.
And one thing too, Robert, is everybody's looking at the shooting, right? And I'm not even looking at the shooting. What I'm looking at is who's in the crowd. How are these individuals resonating with our kids who feel like, that are getting sucked into all this hate-filled language and ideology, and what I want to, what I want to know is, why do they feel like they don't have a future? You know what I mean? What are we doing as adults that aren't providing for these kids, that opportunity, that feeling that they have a future? And it's these bro podcasters. It's these podcasters. It's these Republicans, and it's the president who speak to that dark future that AI is going to take all your jobs. Black and brown people are going to take your jobs. Women are going to take your jobs. It's all that rhetoric that they spread out there of this doom and gloom of the future, and these kids are buying into it. And Robert, I remember when I was growing up, we had Rodney King, we had the Columbine shooting. We had all these horrific events that took place in the world, but never at one point in time did I feel like I didn't have a future. And we got to start thinking about how do we get our kids engaged with opportunities that they can feel like they have a future and like they can be a part of something bigger than themselves, because that's where I feel like they're getting sucked into.
Well, and that's really interesting that you brought this up, because the first thing that comes to my mind is, do you remember a few years ago we had some Minnesotans join Al Qaeda the same way that these Republicans are getting brainwashed. Al Qaeda was brainwashing people here in the United States to be lone gunmen and do crazy stuff. So it's like so parallel that social media can be so dangerous to so many people.
And when I think of, there's a program in Detroit, Michigan that takes young kids that are in high school, and what they do is they become pallbearers for vets that pass away and don't have family, and give them a burial, right? And what this program has shown and what it's seen is that these kids feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves, like they matter, and I think only so much that what those individuals that are passing away and those families feel like they don't have anymore. They feel like the society cares about the sacrifices that they made, and then it's really it's interesting connection between past and present. You know what I mean? And those kids feeling like they're doing something tangible, helping folks. And once again, I'll sit here and I'll say, I heard this individual who got shot said that empathy has no place in this world, and I think that empathy has all the place in the world. And I don't want to grow up in a society that doesn't care about one another. And so that's what I'm saying. These kids are learning, and I think we need to get more and more of those kinds of programs going for the kids, getting them, off the couch, getting them involved in activities like that, because those are the things that are going to help build a society where everyone feels like they can belong, they can thrive, and they have a future.
I agree 100% of what you're bringing up and talking about. But when we talk about shooters, they're normally, excuse me, they're normally white, middle class, gun loving Republicans that are killing people out there. But I agree 100% with what you're talking about. Being an educator, we do need that. And we do need to really care for our youth, because it sounds like the government isn't.
Yeah, and I think, and my point to what you're saying there, Robert, is parents. I mean, it's a tough job, man. I feel for you, and I know that all of you are doing everything that you can, but there's got to be a way that you can, I don't know what it is, but is it spending more time? Is it finding opportunities to be more engaging with your children? I don't know what the answer is. I'm not a parent, Robert, but I tell you, man, my heart goes out to each and every one of the parents out there right now, because this is a tough, very tough time. And the other thing, when I look at societies like India, or I think it was India that took away social media from the people or something. The computer screens. I'm telling you, Robert, they said that this would be in our lives and we would never know it. And boy, has that proven right so far?
Well, they can block social media if they can track me and know what I'm saying and pop up ads. They can definitely block social media from schools. I don't want to really take away the phones in schools because of these mass shootings. People need to be in contact with their family, but there is a way to block this social media and the dark web while you're in school learning, for sure.
I've gone to some of these, kind of like, retreats where they ask you to take your cell phone out and put it in this little plastic container. And I thought to myself, whoa, and I felt that tug of my inner self, like, no, you can't leave your phone. You got to keep your phone with you. I can't imagine the dopamine that's going through these young kids' mind right now.
Or us, for what you're saying.
That was what I experienced, Robert, and I'm an adult and I experienced this. I can't imagine, but I understand what dopamine is. I understand the addictions because I've lived through it. Robert, you've lived through it. You know what this is about. But these young kids, they don't have an understanding yet. They don't have a concept of exactly how this works. And I just think there needs to be some type of, coordination around, these devices, because they are powerful.
Exactly. Hey, I'm here with Bob Blake, the Solar Bear with the Solar News, and we're talking a little political. Up next, we're going to talk a little football here, and we got a lot of moving parts here in Minnesota and Green Bay. You guys are jamming, and Bob, we have to talk about Green Bay because we're on 20 stations in Wisconsin, so it's Packer Viking talk. We'll be right back with Bob Blake from Red Lake. Ho!
After 20 years of service, the Metro Blue line is ready for essential improvements. A multi-year transformation is on the way, bringing a better, smoother Blue line experience. Renew the Blue will preserve and protect a critical piece of our infrastructure investment, helping it remain a safe, reliable, and affordable transit option for many years to come. Learn more about Renew the Blue at metrotransit.org/renew-the-blue. Metro Transit, Renew the Blue.
The Minneapolis Police Department is hiring, and we're looking for people ready to lead, serve, and reflect the communities we protect.
Whether you're a new graduate, changing careers, or already in law enforcement, there's a path for you to join our department.
With top-tier pay, full benefits, paid training, and a direct path to making a difference, this is more than a job. This is your chance to shape the future of Minneapolis police.
Choose service. Choose leadership. Choose Minneapolis. Visit our city website to learn more.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The easy all-in-one plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus many extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
After 20 years of service, the Metro Blue line is ready for essential improvements. A multi-year transformation is on the way, bringing a better, smoother Blue line experience. Renew the Blue will preserve and protect a critical piece of our infrastructure investment, helping it remain a safe, reliable, and affordable transit option for many years to come. Learn more about Renew the Blue at metrotransit.org/renew-the-blue. Metro Transit, Renew the Blue.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are here with Robert Blake, our friend here, the Solar Bear with the Solar News. And we're switching gears here a little bit here. Bob, yes, he's got his Vikings hat on, but I was very sad last night because it seemed, and the national reporters were talking about the Vikings in particular. This is 6 quarters of bad football at the time, and they've had 1 quarter out of the 8 quarters that were dynamite. So your thoughts? I know there's an injury report. We got a new quarterback coming in, and oh my goodness.
Yep. I mean, that is Kevin O'Connell pulling J.J. McCarthy. And
oh, he's got an ankle injury. McCarthy,
yeah.
This was reported.
Yeah.
So I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got an ankle injury too. but the bottom line is we need to pull this kid and we need to get him back on track. And we need to get his head right. And the thing is just everything is that much quicker in the NFL. It's fast. Everyone is coming at you fast. It's not like high school. It's not like college. This is what these guys do for a living. And, when you have a new line like they do that is trying to get a cohesiveness amongst each other, trying to figure out how to work together, you're going to have some growing pains in that. And they brought in all these guys to protect JJ, but they're trying to get on the same board with one another, the same track. So, at the same time, JJ needs about another second or two to be able to make that decision on where he's going with the ball. And so, I think the Vikes are going to work on this. You get someone in there like a Carson Wentz, who's a professional, who's been to the top.
Yes.
North Dakota State University, everyone, NDSU in the house. But you get this guy in there who understands, who can basically take the team, get some drives together, get some camaraderie amongst everybody. And then I think you can bring it back in JJ to be able to, start going through some of those more growing pains that they're going to have. But right now, I think O'Connell is doing the right thing by pulling JJ right now and getting him some opportunity to get some reps and to just be able to get his head around everything. Because right now, his confidence, is shot right now.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. And you think about people like Steve Young, who was on the bench for a long time behind. So a lot of these great quarterbacks, they don't all start out right away, right from the top. And so you need some seasoning. You need to sit there. You need to go into some blowouts. He didn't get very many reps during, I want to say spring training, but during preseason.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I was kind of wondering about that, why they weren't working with him more, why they weren't putting him through the drills more. But they had a problem with, trying to figure out who was going to be the backup quarterback, who else was going to make the team. So I guess I get that, and now they're under scrutiny, Robert, because They let a guy go who had 5,000 yards, close to 5,000 yards, 40 touchdowns. Sam Darnold last year. Daniel Jones is having a heck of a season. His first 2 games with the Indianapolis Colts, I mean, he's literally almost, I think, leading the league. So you've got some decisions there that's looking at Kwesi and Kevin like you let 2 of your stars go. But listen, I think we need to stick with this kid. I think we just need to continue to believe in him, and I really do believe that he'll come through in the end. This kid's a winner. He's won at every level, and I believe that he's going to win at this level. It's just that it's just too quick for him right now. It's really way too quick for him right now.
Yeah, I could really feel that. Let's jump back and forth here. I am never was really in the beginning convinced about the Vikings or the Packers quarterback and Love, but I am convinced, and they seem to have over in Green Bay the full package when it comes to defense, special teams, and a quarterback, and someone that can throw the ball.
Well, I mean, I like this receiver, Matthew Golden. I think Matthew Golden is going to be, the next, sharp, these wonderful receivers that they've had in the past, Devontae Adams, those type of guys. That Matthew Golden, I think, is going to turn into that for Jordan Love. You can need Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is one of the most solid running backs in the NFL. And he can carry the load for the team. And then, Tucker Kraft, you got a couple of great tight ends over there. And then you brought in Micah Parsons, who's probably the premier defensive end in the NFL, probably the best defensive player in the NFL, and has really just changed the game for them over there. So the Packers, I'm telling you all, the Packers look good, but I'm gonna live and die with the Vikes, but the Pack look really good right now, man. It's gonna be a good series again this year.
Well, we're on Civic Media in Wisconsin, over 20 stations, so we have to act humble. But I'm with you, Bob. I just have to bite my tongue and give the Packers their due right now. But it's a long, long season, and injuries happen, and surprises happen.
And you saw Dan Campbell of the Detroit Lions run up the score on Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears. Ben Johnson is the old offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. So you don't think there was a little bit of like, hey, you left the team to go coach the Bears in the same division. You don't think I'm going to run up the score on you this weekend, bud? So I got a little chuckle off of seeing Dan Campbell run up the score on the Chicago Bears. But I think the NFC Central is going to be, once again, the NFC North is going to be the toughest division again, and you're going to see each and every one of these teams battle it out. I think it's going to be between Green Bay and Minnesota when it comes right down to the end. And then Detroit and Chicago will finish it out.
Wow. Oh, I gotta write that down. That's amazing. I can't let Detroit out, especially after what they did, but they looked terrible in their first loss, and then they kind of snapped out of it there. But I gotta.
Well,
what is your prediction? It sounds like Green Bay, Minnesota.
Well, I think it's going to be Minnesota. Will edge out Green Bay. Green Bay and Minnesota are going to make the playoffs, no doubt about it.
Right.
And then you're going to have Detroit. Detroit lost a lot with their coaches leaving, a lot of their staff. Went on because you build a successful franchise, you build a successful, kind of culture, and everybody wants that, right? So they took a lot of folks left. Aaron Glenn went to the Jets, the New York Jets. So you lost a lot of good folks, and of course they lost some good players too. So. Dan Campbell Detroit Lions ain't what they were last year. So I think they're going to come in third. And then I think you're going to see the Chicago Bears bring up the fourth. But our worst team is still going to give everybody a hard time. I mean, don't think that Caleb Williams and the rest of the team over there, DJ Moore, they've got DeAndre Swift. They got a good defense. I mean, they're going to be tough. The Bears aren't something to sleep on either. So once again, though, They call it the black and blue division for nothing, Robert. That's the truth.
No doubt. And we got like a minute left here, and man, I'd really like you to say towards the end here, that's the Solar Bear with the NFL news.
Yeah,
Hey,
is this the sports with the Solar Bear now?
exactly.
Solar
we
Bear
got
with the sports news.
We got less than a minute here, and I wonder, Patrick, from the station, if you want to just chime in and give us a 30-second update, what you think, if you're able to. I didn't ask Patrick to do it, so he might not be ready prepared, but I know he's got an opinion.
Well, there are going to be some rough games, obviously, last night. McCarthy, I blame the offensive line. The offensive line objectively was really bad last night. And, but that's another problem, is that when your line is that bad, that affects McCarthy, that he's going to speed things up a lot more than he was. So I put a lot on the line last night.
Okay, there we go. Hey, we got 15 seconds here, Robert. Get us out.
I'm gonna agree with Patrick, man. It's the line. I hope they get better, but I think that they need to get this kid's psyche back together. Patrick, I think you'd agree with that. And I see this. I see the Vikes making a run for it.
Hey, and that's the Solar Bear with the NFL news. Thanks, Patrick. Thank you, Sean Sherman. Thank you, Wendy. We'll see you tomorrow.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio